Another important skill to know and to learn in surviving graduate school is proposal writing skills. They're a necessity, and you must learn these. For instance, learning to write for thesis and dissertations. Usually, you will learn to write for thesis and dissertation from the classes that you have taken before you reach that level of writing a thesis or a dissertation. For instance, in many of my classes, I wrote literature reviews for many of the subject matter. Whether, like for me, I was in psychology. Sometimes I wrote about personalities, sometimes I wrote about social phenomena, but I always had to go back and do a literature review that related to those areas. When I went to write my thesis and dissertation, guess what? It happened. I realized I knew how to do a literature review, which allowed me to explore the different things that I wanted to research within my dissertation, and this was very important. It was also through my class that I learned how to write introductions, because as you all know, dissertations and thesis often start out with an introduction, a literature review, a method section, a results section, and a discussion section. In each of my classes, I always had to write papers that directly related to each of those areas. By the time I went to write my dissertation, it was fascinating. I realized that if I generalized the skills from my classes into writing my final product, which was a dissertation, I had the skills. What I needed to learn was how to integrate those different skills from the classes I took and what I had learned to make sure that I could get through my thesis or dissertation, depending the level that I was at. It also helped me in writing for future grant proposals, because many grant proposals always require a strong rationale, which is an introduction. Also requires a literature review. You must be able to not only rationalize why you want some money to work with some of the issues that you're presenting, but you also must be able to give some sort of research behind it to show, yes, I know what I'm talking about, and I know where I'm headed to, and I think it's a great idea to fund, and I think that you think it's a great idea to fund. My job is to convince you, and those are future grant writing proposals. Also, writing for proposals that lead to publications. Anything you write, whether it's papers for your classes, whether it's part of your dissertation, your thesis, especially if you're writing grant proposals, you're always going to have to do an introduction and a rationale, which is usually a literature review. All of those can always become the beginnings, if not a final product for a manuscript. And with a little bit of editing, you'll be able to send it off. And who knows, that may be the beginning of your first publications. And it's a lot of fun to see your name in print, knowing that, yes, that is my work, and somebody thought it was important enough to publish it, so I can get credit for those publications, which will also help you when applying for faculty positions, other type of research positions, and even applying for grants. So please keep in mind, always do the best you can on the papers that you write and the proposals that you work on, because those skills will last for you forever in being able to do research in other areas as you go on. Written and oral communication skills are very critical in graduate school, and they're also very important. How you present yourself in journal articles, books, presentations, how you want people to perceive you, how you want to articulate those ideas to make sure that people truly understand what it is that you would like them to know. And this is very important, especially when working in symposiums with faculty. Some of you will get the opportunity to go with faculty to different conferences and to present in panels and be able to have that experience where you have an audience that's looking at you, because when you're on a panel, you're the expert. Articulation of your words, the presentation of your ideas, how you write within your articles, how you write for a book chapter, how you write in preparing for a presentation, all those things are very important. But even most important of all is how you articulate your needs to your advisor, your faculty, especially when you're in your classes. When I used to meet with my advisor, I used to say, I never wasted their time. When I used to say, you know, Dr. So-and-so, I'd like to meet with you. These are some things that I'm really struggling with that I would like to have some help on. I really would like your advice. Or these are some things that I think I've been very successful at, but I want to get some feedback. With other faculty, when I've been in their classes, I'll ask, you know, I'm not sure what that means. Could you explain it further? Because it doesn't do me any good to leave a class not understanding the subject matter, not being able to articulate what it is, and most of all, not being able to present it again for a test or an exam that I know that I need to pass for that class. So I guess if I were to leave you with a thought, I'll leave you with a thought of learn to articulate not only your needs, what your perceptions are, your presentations, so others too can learn from you as you learn from them. Now I'd like to talk to you about something that for some of us can be very difficult, and that's how to change advisors, especially for whatever reason. You may not get along with an advisor, they may not have the same research interests, or an advisor was selected for you before you even entered the program, or an advisor had picked you and later had changed their mind for whatever the reason may be. And these are difficult things to deal with. It creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And how do you talk to an advisor that you know you may have to change and your relationship could change? Let me give you some pointers. First of all, if you're ever in a situation where you may have to change advisor, the first place to go to is your handbook. What are the rules in your handbook and in the department? Are there rules? Like for instance, in some departments, they always say talk to your advisor first. And if your advisor is open enough and creates that atmosphere that allows you to share your concerns, that might be the best place to start. And others, you may have to talk to what they call a graduate coordinator. They're usually the person in charge of the overall graduate program. And you can seek their advice, and they will help you through that process of having to change advisors. In other situations, you may have to talk to the department head, and the department head may help you do that. But whatever the process may be, make sure you know what the rules are. Look through your handbook first and follow the protocol. It's very important, even if you change advisors, to keep your relationships positive with your faculty. It's very political at times, I know, and it's very hard. And for some reasons, some of us will think, well, I'm not sure about this relationship, or it doesn't feel good to me, or I really would like to work with someone else, but I don't know how to tell my advisor that now. Remember, you can have many mentors, and many faculty can fulfill different roles for you. But if you truly have to change an advisor, do it with the sensitivity and the understanding of what the rules are. Because as we all know, you would like others to have the understanding when you present an issue to be able to listen. And that's what I mean by having a good listener. Somebody that can provide that non-threatening, supportive atmosphere that allows you to speak about difficult issues as much as they would present difficult issues to you in the process of changing an advisor. And this is very important in maintaining the most positive relationships with your faculty within the department that you're in. Because you never know, they may be one of the professors that end up on your committee for your defense of your dissertation or your thesis or a research project that you may be presenting. So keep your relationships positive and be sensitive as much as you would like them to be sensitive with you. Now for one of the most important subject matters to talk about to survive graduate school, your time management. Let me tell you, how you schedule your life, your personal life versus your academic life, family time, work time, even your being with anyone that's a loved one is very important. So let's start out with your time. Now, take into consideration that we have 24 hours in a day, which means if you take that times 7, you have 168 hours in a week. That's what you have to work with to organize your life and organize your time. But remember, 8 hours of sleep a day times 7, that's 56 hours. That leaves you with 112 hours a week to be able to accomplish the things that you need to do in order to be in your classes. And most of us will work. Some of us 20 hours, some 10, some 30, some 40. But let's take 20 hours. That's about the average in graduate school. 20 hours in graduate school, if you subtract that from 112 hours, you have 92 hours. Your job is to organize those 92 hours to make them the most successful possibly that you can. How to schedule your life. This is very important. Because remember, You have to figure in time to drive back and forth to campus, probably an hour a day. There's 7 hours. You're going to have to figure out time about showering, making meals, washing dishes, washing clothes, cleaning your apartment, doing your laundry, all those types of things. That'll take up anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a week just for the laundry alone, let alone cooking, cleaning, and so forth. Now let's talk about doing your homework. For every 1 hour you're in class, you're supposed to spend 2 to 3 hours out of class. Most students take 9 hours a semester. That means for 9 hours of class, you are studying 27 hours a week. So make sure that you have those times blocked out. Same time each day, that's your study time. It's getting a little complicated, isn't it? Well, let's talk about how to stay healthy. Exercising. Making sure that you allow your body to breathe and to relax, especially in times of stress. I always know when students come into my office and they're feeling a little stressed. They'll walk around and they'll have a headache. It'll start here or in the back of their head. Some will have chest pains. Some will have leg pains. Some will have back pains. All these are signs of stress. Some, if I were to look at their cheek, they'll come in like little Morse code on their cheeks. And their cheeks are twitching. I know they're stressed. So I begin to ask them, what seems to be troubling you today? Because how you manage your time makes a big difference. And what about your personal life? Usually we take out the worst times that we can when we're stressed on our loved ones. And you know what? Our loved ones are there for us. They want to support us, want to make sure we're successful. They want to give us the time that we need so we too can be successful. So we too must make time and make sure we have quality time with those that we love, because that's the kind of time that they give us. Some of them will sacrifice so that we can study or we can do things. So when it comes to family time, don't abuse your time not doing what you're supposed to be doing during your times of study, attending class, or working on projects. Because when you do abuse those times, it has to come out of somewhere. It usually comes out of the time that we would have set aside to be with our loved ones. And this is what creates many complex situations for us. That we must be very careful of. Family time, whether it's with your immediate family or your friends or so forth, because for me, my friends are like my family. Knowing when to say, no, I can't, or yes, I can. Well, let's do this. Maybe not on Friday. How about Saturday? Or maybe not during the week. No, I can't watch that movie tonight. Knowing what your limitations are, knowing how to put some parameters to your rules, this will help you survive in graduate school. And when to work, and how to be at work, and how you take care of yourself. All these things are very important. Remember, don't let your time control you. You control your time. For it is you that will be making the decisions that will impact your academics, your loved ones, and your success that will lead to the accomplishment of getting your degree. So please keep in mind, take care of yourself. And as you take care of yourself, you will take care of those around you as much as they will take care of you.
Please join us for part 3 of Surviving Graduate School.